Hi, I'm Tristan. I'm 13 years old. I'm curious, I'm passionate, and I'm sure you are too. Join me on a quest to dig deep and find out new things. Welcome to Youth Voices. Good evening. Welcome to my program. This is your radio host, Tristan Pang, on Planet FM 104.6. Youth Voices. Good to have you company. So in my program, I'll share with you some things that are inspirational, including interviews, stories, quotes, and whatever I find interesting and inspiring. I spoke at Ponsonby Intermediate School yesterday. It's such an amazing school. I know you would like it. Everyone is so nice, the principals, the deputy principals, the teachers, and, of course, the lovely students. Hello, Ponsonby Intermediate School. Let's talk. This is my second part of my featured guest, Jade Leung's interview. Jade is currently 21 years old and has recently completed a Bachelor of Engineering at the University of Auckland. During her final year at high school, she received an outstanding scholarship in chemistry, geography, painting, physics, and science, and also scholarships in biology, English, Spanish, statistics, and modeling, and a top subject award in chemistry. Her achievements have placed her among the top 10 scholars in the country. Jade is heavily involved in non-governmental organisations and social enterprises sectors throughout New Zealand. She is a former CEO of P3 Foundation, an organisation in New Zealand to end poverty, and is a manager at Engineers Without Borders New Zealand. Jade has also been involved in growing NCA Campus, a not-for-profit organisation tackling educational inequality in New Zealand. Under her leadership, the charity grew to a team of 180 tutors, serving 3,000 students throughout 2 years. In part one of my interview last week, Jade talked about the secret of her memory skills and told us how to boost our memories and what motivated her to achieve high. She also talked about her community services and told how we can start getting involved in voluntary work. Jade has a very cheerful personality and has many friends. I began the second part of my interview by asking Jade, of all the people you know, can you suggest 3 to be my featured guest in the future? And why do you choose them?
Yeah, absolutely. There's heaps of really fantastic people that are doing really great things. In terms of the 3 people that come to mind, the first one is a friend of mine called Florence Reynolds. She's heading up a social enterprise called the Plastic Diet. And sort of without giving too much away about what they do, they essentially are centred on the issue of plastic pollution. So in this world today, a lot of our supply chains rely on single-use plastic, and that's hugely detrimental to the environment and a lot of things beyond direct environmental impacts as well. And so what Florence is doing is, from the ground up, she started this initiative called the Plastic Diet, and she's incredibly passionate. And I think the reason why she's well worth talking to in general is because she's so sort of encapsulates, I think, the type of energy that my generation have and the type of energy that that people sort of will see in the future leaders that we've got. And so Florence is definitely someone well worth talking to. The second person that comes to mind is a friend called Chris Jupp. So he is a youth engagement person at World Vision, but he's much more than that. So he's very central to a lot of young people's journeys in terms of getting involved with the charitable sector, but specifically getting involved and getting in touch with their passion to do something about extreme poverty in the world. And he's just an absolutely kind of beautiful character and very inspirational, and has also come through a significant journey himself as well. So he's well worth talking to in terms of that kind of youth perspective. And the third person is Michelle Dickinson. I think would also be well worth talking to, and I think you know her, Tristan, but Michelle's a scientist at heart, I think, and she's a lot of things. One thing that she primarily does is she lectures at the University of Auckland, but even beyond that, she's been absolutely crucial to bringing science into the wider community as well. So she's got a lot of initiatives and a lot of kind of new segments that she's on, where essentially it's kind of a great passion of hers to bring science closer to the heart and minds of the general public. And I think that's an issue, or that's a cause that I resonate with really highly, because I'm a scientist, and I really enjoy the scientific process, but also really enjoy the kinds of things that science can open your mind to. And I think Michelle's kind of in a really good position to speak more to that. There's obviously like a couple of dozen more people that are well worth talking to in New Zealand, but those three are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So finally, I have two signature questions to conclude with. The first question is, tell us three people you know or you know of who have influenced you, so our young listeners can also learn from them.
The first two that come to mind have always been kind of icons for me. So the first is Sal Khan, who started the Khan Academy, and the second is Bill Gates. In terms of why, I know that those two particular figures are inspirational to a lot of people. In terms of my particular sort of resonation with those two, I think Sal Khan for me is the first kind of figure who really opened up my eyes to critiquing the way that education works worldwide. And that's something that I'm super passionate about, and something that I do a lot of work with now, is generally kind of questioning the way that the education system works, and sort of reconfiguring the way that the ultimate objectives of someone who's graduating from the school system kind of feeds into the way that we design the school system. And so Sal has obviously been very influential in terms of the Khan Academy and the work that they've done in the digital space in education, but he's also quite a brilliant sort of public advocate for the kind of change that I know that I personally want to see in the education system within my lifetime. So he's been fantastic in that respect. Bill Gates is obviously a lot of things to a lot of people as well. I think that the main thing that inspires me about Bill is that he's one of the most effective philanthropists I've ever seen. So he's very conscious about the way that he spends his money, and he's obviously got a lot of it, but he's very conscious about the areas of impact. And so he's been absolutely sort of pushing the boundaries of what philanthropy means, and also what impact means, and sort of challenging the archaic kind of traditional charity models, and bringing in enterprise, and bringing in innovation, and bringing in technology, and bringing in research and development. And I think he's been incredibly influential on the way in which we've globally kind of evolved in tackling sort of really big issues. So he's brilliant in that respect, and also brilliant in a lot of other ways as well. The third person that comes to mind is Robin Staples. So Robin is a principal of Southern Cross Campus, which is a DESAL 2 school in Mangere. And Robin is absolutely a hero in my mind, even though he's not kind of a public figure like the other two, largely because he's incredibly innovative and incredibly passionate about the work that he does. And so I could harp on about this for ages, but in New Zealand there's definitely a stigma around being a low decile school, and I think Robin is probably the first to really demonstrate to me that label holds absolutely no weight whatsoever. He does incredible things in terms of shaking up the way that his school works. He does incredible things for his community and the students and the parents, incredible things for his staff, and just leads the school in a way like I've seen no other. And the results demonstrate themselves as well. So his students in Southern Cross Campus do incredibly well versus what they're expected to do given national statistics. And Robin's been absolutely sort of influential on me personally in terms of challenging the way that I see those kinds of schools as well. So yeah, that's my three, but there's again a lot more that have inspired me, I think.
Yeah, that's great. So finally, my last question to you is that can you share with us something that you've heard or read that really inspired you?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of wonderful kind of pieces of thinking out there, and a lot of wonderful kind of books and thoughts and things. I think generally TED Talks have been quite inspirational in a bunch of different ways for me. I mean, I know that I've learned a lot about education specifically through TED Talks, and so I can't really pinpoint a particular talk, but I think the education-related kind of TED Talks out there have been really sort of groundbreaking for me. I think the one that comes to mind is Ken Robinson's one on creativity in the school system. There's also one about a couple of initiatives that have been started up that are more about community learning. And I think in terms of why they've really inspired me and why they could inspire a lot of others, it's just absolutely sort of special being able to see how other countries, how other communities are addressing the very same issues that I'm kind of interested in. And I think there's a lot that New Zealand can learn from what's happening worldwide, and what a lot of things that globally people can learn than what's happening in New Zealand. And so I think a platform like TED is just absolutely sort of wonderful for sharing those ideas. So yeah, not a specific thing that comes to mind, but I think you can easily find any inspiration that you want through the superb ecosystem of TED Talks that exists online.
Great, yeah. So thank you for taking your time today to be interviewed. Jade is such an incredible person. We can learn a lot from her. I'll also contact Michelle Dickinson, Florence Reynolds, and Chris Chubb, who Jade has recommended. I'm sure they are very inspiring too. We would like to hear from you. Please drop us a line on the Facebook page, Youth Voices, about what you have learned from Jade. If you want to know more about Jade or listen to part 1 of Jade's interview, please visit the Youth Voices Facebook page. You'll also find a link to her TED Talk. Let's quote. I saw my former principal, Mr. Crompton, mention a quote on the Ficino newsletter last week. This is a very good quote. Here it is. Read the opening verse of the opening page of the chapter of Endless Possibilities by Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling was a famous English writer. The Jungle Book was written by him. In this quote, the book is a metaphor for life. He interprets how we live our life as how we write a book. Whether it's a sad or happy story, it all depends on how we draw the plot. Everything is in our hands. If we let ourselves open to endless possibilities, we'll live our lives to the greatest extent. Let's be inspired. Face difficulties positively, from academictips.org. This parable is told of a farmer who owned an old donkey. The donkey fell into the farmer's well. The farmer heard the donkey praying, or whatever donkeys do when they fall into wells. After carefully assessing the situation, the farmer sympathized with the donkey, but decided that neither the donkey nor the well was worth the trouble of saving. Instead, he called his neighbors together, told them what was happening, and asked them to help throw dirt to bury the old donkey in the well and put him out of his misery. Initially, the donkey was hysterical, but as the farmer and his neighbors continued shoveling and with the dirt hitting his back, a thought struck him. It suddenly dawned on him that every time a shovel load of dirt landed on his back, he would shake it off and step up. This he did, blow after blow, shake it off and step up, shake it off and step up, shake it off and step up. He repeated to encourage himself. No matter how painful the blows or how distressing the situation seemed, the old donkey fought panic and just kept right on it, shaking it off and stepping up. It wasn't long before the old donkey, battered and exhausted, stepped triumphantly over the wall of the well. What seemed to bury him actually helped him, all because of the manner in which he handled his adversity. So that's life. If we face our problems and respond to them positively and refuse to give in to panic, bitterness, or self-pity, we will succeed and overcome these problems. Let's explore. Do you know that the most popular favorite number is 7? In a survey, nearly 3,000 people, around 10% of the total asked, chose 7 as their favorite number in an online poll by Alex Bellos. This might be because 7 is arithmetically unique. It's the only number below 10 you can't multiply or divide to keep it within the group. For example, 5, you can multiply it by 2 to get to 10, which is still within the 1 to 10 group. And 6 and 8 you can divide by 2 to get 3 and 4 respectively. 7 also shows up in a lot of human culture. We have 7 deadly sins, the 7 wonders of the world, and not to mention the colours of the rainbows, pillars of wisdom, seas, dwarves, and the days of the week. So for today, that's it from me, Tristan Pang. Thank you for listening. Please write to me on Facebook. I need your support. Don't forget to like Youth Voices on Facebook. So bye. Join me again next Saturday at 5:20 p.m. to dig deeper, or listen anytime online at planetaudio.org.nz/youthvoices. Youth Voices.